Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something that is absolutely fundamental to a good life, self-respect. It's the bedrock of real confidence. But how do you actually build it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today with something called the RASPECT framework. Think of it as a practical 7-step guide, a toolkit for building genuine self-respect from the inside out. So, let's jump right in.
I wanted to kick things off with this amazing quote from Rumi, because it kind of flips what we think we know on its head. It makes you wonder. Maybe true confidence isn't about being perfectly put together all the time. Maybe it's something else entirely. It's just a great way to open our minds as we start exploring what self-respect really is.
Okay, here's the game plan for today. First, we're going to get super clear on what self-respect actually is. Then, I'll introduce you to the RASPECT framework. We'll split that into 2 parts, the outer game, which is all about your actions, and the inner game, which is about your mindset. And we'll wrap it all up with a key takeaway you can start using literally today. So, first things first, what is self-respect really? Before we can even think about building it, we have to know what we're aiming for. And the most important thing to get is that it's an inside job. It has nothing to do with your resume, your accomplishments, or what anyone else thinks of you. It all comes down to what you believe about yourself.
And this brings us to a really crucial difference: self-respect versus earned respect. See, self-respect is internal. It's unconditional. It's something you give to yourself, just by recognizing that you have inherent worth, period. Earned respect, on the other hand, is external. It comes from other people, and it's usually conditional, based on what you can do or what you've achieved. Today, we're focused completely on building that internal, unshakable kind of respect.
All right, so now we know what we're building, but let's get to the how. And that is the RASPECT framework, your 7-letter toolkit designed to help you build that solid internal foundation of confidence and self-respect.
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's one thing to talk about self-respect as this nice idea, but how do you actually practice it? How do you turn it into a skill? Well, that's exactly what this framework is for, to give you concrete, actionable steps.
And here it is, RASPCT. Each letter stands for a core principle. We're going to tackle this in 2 parts. First, the outer game, that's RASP, which focuses on behaviors you can see. And then the inner game, ECT, which is all about your internal state of mind. So let's dive into the outer game.
All right, welcome to the outer game. These first 4 principles, reserved, assert, scarce, and present, are all about the actions you take. And what's so powerful about these is that they create this amazing feedback loop. They don't just change how others see you, they send a powerful signal back to your own brain that literally changes how you see yourself. So our first principle, R, is for reserved. This is all about the power of saying less. When you're not constantly talking, the words you do say suddenly have more weight, more impact. It creates this sense of depth, this little bit of mystery that makes people lean in and really listen. It's about impact over volume.
Next up, A is for assert. This one's all about your physical presence, your body language. When you just take up a little more space, uncross your arms, stand a little taller, it actually triggers a chemical change in your brain. It makes you feel more confident and less stressed. So your posture isn't just for show. It's a tool you can use to change how you feel on the inside.
After that, we have S for scarce. Now, let's be clear. This is not about playing games or being hard to get. It's about having your own life. When you're busy with your own goals, your own hobbies, your own priorities, you naturally become less available. And that sends a message to yourself and to everyone else that your time is valuable because you're invested in your own journey.
And the final piece of our outer game is P, for present. This is so simple, but it is incredibly effective. When you take the time to present yourself well, whatever that looks like for you, it sends a direct message to your subconscious that you are worth the time and effort. It's a small act of self-care that gives you an immediate, tangible confidence boost.
Okay, so that was the outer game, the external things you can do. But that's only half the story. Now we get to the inner game. These next 3 principles, engage, calm, and true, this is where the really deep work happens. This is all about mastering your internal state.
We kick off the inner game with E for engage, and specifically we're talking about eye contact. Holding someone's gaze is such a powerful signal. It tells them you're confident, sure, but it also shows you're genuinely interested in them. Here's a little challenge for you. Next time you're talking to someone, try holding their gaze for just 1 second longer than feels comfortable. It's a fantastic way to build this muscle. Next up is C, for calm. Just think for a second about how truly confident people move. It's usually slow, deliberate, relaxed. Quick, jerky movements often signal nervousness, like you're reacting to everything around you. By consciously slowing down your own movements, you project a sense of control. You're telling the world and yourself, I'm not panicked, I've got this.
And that brings us to T, for true. Honestly, this might be the most important letter of them all, because it's the foundation for everything else. You cannot have self-respect without self-acceptance. It's time to stop trying to be the person you think other people want you to be. Giving up on people-pleasing isn't just a tactic, it is the ultimate act of self-respect.
You know, Oscar Wilde just nailed it with this line. It's witty, of course, but it's also so profoundly true. Being authentic isn't just a nice idea, it's the only real ground you have to stand on. All the energy you spend trying to be someone else is energy you're stealing from the person you actually are.
And if Oscar Wilde feels a little heavy, how about Dr. Seuss? This is just such a joyful celebration of being unique. It's a beautiful reminder that the things that make you different aren't flaws to be hidden, they're your greatest strengths. And embracing that, well, that's the real core of self-respect.
So, we've walked through the whole framework, right? The outer game of what you do and the inner game of how you think. But look, a framework is only useful if you actually use it. So the big question is, what now? How do you put this into practice in your own life?
So here's the whole toolkit one last time. Be reserved with your words, assert yourself with your body, make your time scarce and valuable, present yourself with care, engage with real presence, stay calm under pressure, and most importantly, be true to who you are. Now remember, you don't have to master all of these at once.
And that brings us to the final and most important question, a question for you. Take another look at that list. Which one of those 7 principles just kind of pops out at you? Don't try to tackle all 7. Just find the one that feels like the easiest first step, something you can do today. That is your starting point. Because self-respect isn't some destination you arrive at, it's a daily practice. Pick one and start your practice today.